I think in particular for me, Mac, I'm kind of looking towards the bot lane as being where a lot of it is going to go down. Wacko and Hope have kind of been the standouts for both of their respective teams. Both the supports have had really good games as well. So, yeah, I mean, when we're talking about Team Chinese Taipei versus Team China, and we're expecting to see a bit more of a standard game than maybe some of the messy, more chaotic matches we've seen from the Southeast Asia games, you know, you look at these two teams and you think probably most of the priority is going to be heading down in towards the bot lane as a result of that.
Well, in terms of the ban so far, it is just get rid of the meta as fast as you can and hope that there's going to be no OP picks left open. So we'll see who wins the long game in terms of these bans and what is going to be picked first. Of course, Team Chinese Taipei are going to be starting on blue. So we'll see what they opt to do for the first pick. Annie is going to be out of the equation for this one. And back over to Team China now. Let's see what they answer with.
Yeah, so far
the Kasante, is it going to be the Zeri?
Just kind of getting rid of the safe picks. I don't think an Aphelios would go too far astray here for Team China if they were to try to get it either banned out or early in the rotation. I feel like that's where Wacko has really found a lot of his strongest games. So maybe that's something that they're going to look towards. The interesting thing about this matchup is, like, at least as far as top lane is concerned, the champion pools are very, very similar. We're likely to see Kasante and Sion a lot in this matchup. I'm not sure you're really going to be wasting bans in that direction. Maybe you take Kasante out of the picture and you try to take the Sion and maybe force, in this case, I guess it would be Cube onto something else if that does get picked early on from Team Chinese Taipei, because they are on that blue side. They have gotten rid of the Kasante. What's the answer from Team China? What's that final ban going to be coming through here? I think you can, you know, really take your pick. There's plenty of good options, and it should not necessarily be anything target banned, more so just trying to get rid of those stronger meta picks, and that's very much what we've seen across the board. None of these really scream target bans to me. It's just trying to get some of the stronger picks off the board.
Yep, so a lot of OP picks missing. Yuumi gone, which means that Zeri is going to be less valuable, but we have seen it had a lot of fun today over in Southeast Asia, but here in East Asia, is it going to be that priority pick? Looks like we haven't seen the Milio picked up for Team Chinese Taipei. They've been pretty solid with this, and of course it is going to be a nice deterrent to too much team fight being picked by Team China. But what are we going to see as an answer here?
Yeah, I haven't actually seen too much Milio just yet from Woody in this event. He's been on the Braum and the Yuumi for the most part. Couple of Yuumi games. I was actually going to mention I didn't expect that Team Chinese Taipei would get to play the Yuumi twice in a row. Again, that's what they had yesterday. They played Yuumi support 2 games in a row. Yeah. But no chance for that today. And instantly it's going to be the Zeri and the Lulu picked up. Zeri has been pretty much a favorite for Hope. Played it a couple of times already here at this event. No reason not to take it. I wouldn't be super surprised to see an Aphelios come through here. I feel like that's kind of been the go-to for Wacko. And we know that Aphelios and Milio can work together pretty nicely.
That Jinx still open as well?
Yeah, Jinx is definitely there as an option as well. But I mean, I really lean towards the Aphelios just because of the fact that Wacko has played it in 3 out of the 4 of the games that we've seen from Team Chinese Taipei so far. So
really damn well.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And there is the Aphelios. So I mean, it's not a huge surprise, obviously. He's played it with no shortage of different supports as well. I think he had a Braum, Renata, and a Yuumi support in the 3 games that he's played for Aphelios so far here at the Road to Asian Games. So shouldn't be too much of a difficulty for him to sort of just play a bit of a different style. Like when you play with Yuumi, you play a different way to how you play with Braum, how you play with Renata, and certainly when you get Milio in the mix as well, that's going to change things up. Azir, again, you know, just another sort of safe mid pick. It's been a favorite for Maple. He's played a couple of games on Azir so far. We're very much just seeing these guys go back to the champions that they're comfortable on, that they've had good success on so far in the Road to Asian Games. So I don't think we've really seen any curveballs getting thrown in just yet. Akali would be something a little bit different that, you know, maybe is going to throw something in the mix here that Team Chinese Taipei might not have been prepared for.
Potentially going to have a bit of fun towards the mid lane, at least for Team China. Team Chinese Taipei, of course, looking to scale there with the Azir, but has that Emperor's Divide, which we've seen Maple use to a pretty good level over the last couple of days. I couldn't really, you know, fault him for any of the play. He, of course, has had a lot of the Audi Super A players, so a couple of MVPs to his name, and I dare say that Poppy's going to be taken out, so there's not going to be that synergy which we saw from Maple and Junja earlier on in the week.
Yeah, exactly. Good ban. Obviously, there's a lot of lockdown when you have the Emperor's Divide into the Poppy. And Shanks in that mid lane probably not wanting to deal with that if he's going to be picking up the Akali.
Nocturne ban.
Yeah, I think that's not a bad shout. Nocturne was already picked up once.
Yeah.
Though that was from Team Chinese Taipei, so maybe they're just a little bit concerned about that being a pick coming through from Hong. I wouldn't mind to see some sort of engaged support here for engaged jungler, I should say, from Hong. I think that you do need to look towards someone to be able to start the fight here for Team China. So they've got rid of Sejuani themselves. I don't know if maybe the Nautilus is an angle here for Hong. We've seen him play it quite well already.
Okay, no Gwen. That one's been taken out of the equation. So there's going to be one top laner banned in that second phase from Team Chinese Taipei. And now in to the picks again. Looks like it is going to be Hope looking to lock something in here. Is it going to be the jungle first? Is it going to be the top first? What are they saving? The counter pick 4.
Well, you'd normally expect that it's going to be saved for the top laner
Yep.
between those two. I think as far as jungle is concerned, counter picks isn't necessarily as big of a discussion as it is when it comes to the laners. And Wukong's always going to be a safe choice. We've seen Wukong pretty much be like the default go-to if you don't have a specific choice for that jungle. It's kind of just going to fit the bill. It's going to work quite well in whatever comp you're drafting. Gets some pretty good advantages early. Can be pretty safe into the late game as well. With that Cyclone, you're always going to get value. You see the Scion come through here. That's, again, not a surprise at all for Archie. Obviously, 3 games on Scion so far in the road to Asian Games. And yeah, this throws a bit of a spanner in the works. The Volley Bear is interesting. I think, again, up towards the Jax in the top lane again for Cube. He has, again, shown some tendencies towards that champion at the road to Asian Games. So just across the board, a couple of surprising picks with the Akali, with the Volley Bear maybe coming into each respective team. But aside from that, very much standard, very much safe, very much meta. I do look towards Team China as having a little bit more of a skirmish-heavy style. They want to play a little bit more aggressive in the early game. They want to be taking those 2-on-2s, those 3-on-3s, where they can blow a target up and disengage very quickly with the Wukong decoy, and the Akali, of course, very slippery as well. Whereas Team Chinese Taipei, they've very much just drafted a little bit more of a solid front-to-back kind of a composition.
They got a lot of health.
Get a Filio strong, get a Zia strong, set them up behind the Scion and the Volley Bear. And of course, keep Milio there just to sort of have them safe and happy with the cleansers and the shields and the heals and the extra range and everything else that Milio does. So very different approaches from the draft for Team China and for Team Chinese Taipei, but both look like they've got the tools to get this job done, and it's going to be a fun game to watch.
Yeah, keen to see some Volley Bear. I'm a big fan myself. We'll see what actually can do at top with the Scion up against the Jax, who's just going to be probably looking to split push into the late game, scale up a Storm, and just be an absolute nuisance for Team Chinese Taipei to deal with towards that late game. Of course, Akali, the unknown factor, but you have to believe that someone like Shanks is going to be coming in with the most insane mechanics here. So we'll see if Maple's going to be able to deal with that one. Of course, as you mentioned, front to back, a lot of that damage is going to be coming out of Wacko for Team Chinese Taipei. You'll have to keep your eyes on him and see if the early game goes well, because when it did yesterday, he was unstoppable.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think the game is going to be quite as easy to play, though, for Team Chinese Taipei. Like, you can't really rely on this early game going well. If I had to make a prediction as to how this game is going to play out, I'd say Team Chinese Taipei, they're just going to try to keep things as slow as possible. They don't want to be taking any early engagements. They don't want to be doing anything really too risky in the early game. Even if they're going to go behind a little bit in lane, maybe have to give up a couple of resources here and there in the jungle. As long as they can scale into this game, they've got a really nice composition to win some team fights later on in the piece. So we'll see what ends up happening here for Team China. Can they force the issue? Can they try to push it back on top of Team Chinese Taipei?
Yeah. Already having a little bit of fun, and that crowd is much louder than it has been for any game so far. So a couple of Team WE fans there supporting Team China.
Yep, no surprises, of course. Big fan favorite, I'm sure, coming to the road to Asia Games. Wacko and Woody do have a little bit of a range advantage in this bot lane.
Yeah.
So they can try to play around that, but right now there's a lot of respect being given. No autos going back and forth so far.
Hope just skill checking and making sure that they don't get too overzealous.
Yep.
That those fingers are all warmed up and ready to click up a storm there towards the bot lane.
Wow, the sweeper.
They think it was dirty.
Yeah. They just really want that push control, don't they? But immediately, very good trade. I mean, I say very good in the loosest of terms. It's 1 auto for 0, but ultimately,
it's an advantage.
It's an advantage. And when we're watching players of this caliber, those little inches can get turned into miles very quickly, Mac. And Iwandi forced to use a pot early in this bot lane. Woody trying to get some bush control. He's going to force back. This is the nature of the beast when you're playing an Enchanter versus Enchanter matchup. It's very much who can take control of that bush, who can get those free autos and that free control. And right now, Team China have got the bush control, but they were losing in the trades.
I think something might have gone wrong there for Junja. He's really... Oh no, he started Wolves. Okay, I was wondering what was going on. So he's going to go for that full top clear. Wolves first into Grom, into blue.
Wow.
And maybe path his way towards the bot. Speaking of bot, little skirmish, hitting level 2 real early as Team China, and Hope was farming, looking for as much damage as possible, which he is going to find.
Well, you can just see that advantage that the level 2 does give you. You take that initial fight. It's not as if you're looking for a kill here, particularly in a lane like this. You're just looking to try and zone your opponents out. Iwandi and Hope, they had bush control. They had push control as well, and they do have a bit of control in this lane. It's looking pretty good for them. Cull on either side. Wacko hasn't used his pot, so there is that to sort of think to. But Woody has really been burning through those potions, whereas Iwandi has been able to keep himself a little bit healthier. So it's very interesting to sort of keep an eye on the war of attrition, really, in this bot lane between the supports and the ADCs. Who gets ahead in terms of the overall HP is really going to make a difference. And also, what kind of a difference are these junglers going to make when they path their way down here? Junjia, a little bit quicker through the jungle so far than Hung is going to be, but there is a ward already there for Team China, so you shouldn't see anything go too awry for them here. And Junjia, well aware of that as well. He knows he's been spotted, so he doesn't waste any extra time. Decides to head in a different direction, and he's going to have a look to see whether he can spot Hung out, and is able to do that, which is good information indeed. You're right, Mac, for Team Chinese Taipei.
So far, so good. Of course, you know, when you have that volley bear running at you with the Thundering Smash, it's a little bit scary because it's just movement speed based. It's not a great gap closed in the early game. Oh no, and it looks like we're going to be going into an early technical pause. So hopefully things are all right. Not too much action has happened just yet. But look, we just want to keep you in suspense for a little bit longer, I think.
Yeah, not sure what the issue is just yet, but when we do get that information, we will let you know. I saw Wacko, you know, just raising his hands a little bit off the keyboard in the camera, so it might be something on his PC or over on the Team Chinese Taipei side of things. Either way, I mean, no point really in speculating. There's not a whole lot really to break down here, Max, so far. I don't think, you know, anything too untoward has happened. We've seen a little bit of a probe into the bot lane from Junjia there for Team Chinese Taipei. Aside from that, I mean, Hong in the jungle has been pretty much just full clearing. Nothing really to mention there. He's trying to get 6 as fast as possible, of course, on the Wukong, so you can unlock the Cyclone. Down in bot, you know, just a bit of a back and forth trade. Zeri Lulu, Aphelios Emilio. You're not really expecting to see too much happening in that lane. It's not really supposed to get explosive down there unless the junglers or the mid laners are maybe rotating their way down. But even then, you know, we're not at that point where the mid laners are feeling like they need to move out of their lanes just yet. So pretty much across the board, it's just been farm territory. So yeah, not a whole lot to really break down just yet. We're kind of splitting hairs. It doesn't look like there's been a massive advantage one way or the other. Looks like an audio issue is what's the concern at the moment for Team Chinese Taipei, but not something that should get too bothersome. We'll get that one sorted out. Looks like everyone's kind of ready to get back into the game in just a moment anyway. They're all kind of keeping themselves warmed up. And we're straight back in, so love to see that. Short break is a good break as far as I'm concerned. And you can see Team Chinese Taipei are trying to put a bit of pressure there onto Iwandi, who was solo under that tower. Wacko's taking the opportunity to take some really favourable trades in there. Woody will just get a tower shot, which does sort of neutralise a bit of that. But Junjia here for the dive. This is where it starts to get interesting.
Oh, they're just trying to juggle that aggro. For the moment, though, it looks like Iwandi going to be the first blood. Big pick coming through. Junjia will give his life, and they're hoping to get 2 out of it. Hope, though, Fancy Feet will have too much damage out there, so Wacko and Woody are going to walk away looking a little worse for wear, but Hope is going to play for himself and keep himself alive.
Always a bit of a risky business, but when you take a look at things, it's obviously a little bit more favorable, actually, for Team China. In the end, they do manage to find the 1-for-1 in the 3-on-2. The kill actually goes over to Hope as well, whereas Junja was the one to pick up the kill onto Iwandi. I thought it was a good flash. I thought he might be able to get out of there alive, but in the end, just too much damage coming through from Hope, and now Hope has a red buff as well. So a couple of little advantages, I'd say, going over to Team China out of that one, but certainly not the end of the world for Team Chinese Taipei.
Hong, of course, still has his flash online to use and try to set up a gank course, still hover this mid lane, of course, hanging around at the Raptors. And Maple is respecting the hell out of Team China right now. Nice push. Team China going to go for a bit of vision, maybe try and steal the Raptors away. Nice little invade, and they seem to have a read on Trincha's position, but will Trincha get here in time? He has no spire, so it is just going to be Hong taking away the big Raptor and trying to farm as much of that little camp as possible. Woody, Junja, is going to go and harass the clone, and as he, in the meantime, is just going to get stunned up under his tower. Cube hitting him with the counter strike. And it is, of course, going to look pretty Jack's favoured as he just wants to survive and try to match it. Bit of action down towards that tri-bush on the bot lane. And Wacko going to be able to hit that through. Will he get value off the back of it? No, just one more poke shot coming through. And Woody quite low here as well, so needs to play cautiously.
Yeah, slowly but surely you're seeing Team China just find their little advantages, right? They're able to take the big Wraith away. They're able to get that 1-for-1 trade in bot that maybe a little bit more favorable for them than it was for Team Chinese Taipei, but still, it's very much hanging in the balance. The gold lead, I mean, it's slightly there for Team China. They do tick over to 10k first, but it's really nothing to write home about. Things will start to get interesting when we do start to see these neutral objectives be on offer. And the Dragon maybe floated here for Team China, but decided against ganking toward mid. Hong is still not level 6, so Maple should be fine here. He's got Emperor's Divide.
Will he invest it? No, he's hanging around, and he knows that Shanks is not in the Shroud, so he's just going to hang around.
But that is a bit of free damage, right? And that eases some of that pressure onto Shanks. Junja, once again, coming into the bot lane. Still not level 6, so can't shut that tower down. But Iwandi does not have flash, does not have heal. And it's actually just in the end from Junja. Just going to be a free bit of poke onto Iwandi, who is now forced to back away. And that continues the push for Wacko. It continues the pressure down in the bot lane. They'll be able to get themselves a tower plate. This is really in line with the style we saw from Team Chinese Taipei over the course of this event so far. They play toward bot. They play for those minuscule advantages. Give Wacko the opportunity to find a plate or two. You could maybe get one more here as well because, again, Iwandi has to base. And so you're starting to feed a little bit extra gold into your AD carry than what's going over to Hope. There admittedly is a kill gap, but tower plates and a CS lead in the bot lane is going to start to ramp up. So this is now starting to get a bit interesting. And I wonder if Hong is going to be able to find his mark. Akali on the rotate down as well. He's level 6.
Cyclone as well is going to be invested, but Hope's a little too far away, so we won't see that value come through. And the Cyclone is just going to be sitting there on cooldown. Wacko just chunking away that damage, and Hong now probably going to have to go for the base.
He's really trying to push this wave out so that he doesn't get shoved under turret in a 2v1 or a 3v1 situation. Woody, he knows, has had to go back to base. Wacko feeling really confident to push forward there and kind of even take the fight 2v1 or 3v1 in a sense, but he did a really good job there of the wave control. He's going to ensure that he's not going to lose too much. He's not going to get dove. And again, it's the little things here from Team Chinese Taipei that are paying off in a big way. And they have a small advantage. Another exchange up in the top lane. Archie is struggling a little bit up there.
Objective's going to be traded here. Quick base back from Junja, who manages to capture that Herald. And of course, we're going to see this Cloud Drake taken by Team China. So they're going to be a little bit faster across the map, which can certainly help when you have as much damage as they're bringing into this comp.
Yeah, well, Rift Herald for Dragon. Again, you're kind of splitting hairs at that point. Chinese Taipei are building out that gold lead, which is a positive sign. Obviously, they haven't actually ended up using the Rift Herald just yet either. Oh, that's going to be a nice slam. And a good exchange. It's always such a nice feeling when you're sitting in the bushes, the Scion, and you're able to get the fully procced Q.
Yeah.
The fully charged Q, I should say.
terms of mid lane, this wave just going to be chunked on down by Maple. Shanks happy to sit back and just last hit his way to success. Iwandi as well, just doing a bit of roaming. Looking like he has that control ward. He wants to get nice and deep there. Will drop the yellow trinket. And thinking about just blowing up the blast cone so there's no flank angle coming through from Team Chinese Taipei.
Yeah, it's good. Just getting deep wards in the jungle. One of the things you want to be doing as a support when you don't necessarily need to be down in that bot lane. You can give some solo XP over to your ADC. They're going to try to get something onto Waco here because Woody is out of town.
Yeah, lightning crash is good, but Waco going to be able to hit right back. Is doing huge damage now. Is that healing going to be enough? No, Woody.
Junja.
He might be making this one work. Junja going to be trying to chase down Hope here, who's going ultra bloody violet right now. My lord. 1-for-1 is what we end up getting here. A ADC for a support. I don't know if that's even.
Yeah, but once again, it's a little bit awkward. I mean, in a sense, Wacko is in an advantage because he can farm up the wave, whereas Hope could not. But the kill did go over to Hope. And again, it went over to Junja. He had to smite it. It was just a little bit too touch and go. Ideally, you'd want to leave that kill over for Wacko, but he was way too low at the end of the fight. You can see the idea here for Team China, and it's exactly as I was saying in that pre-match. They want to try to force the issue. They want to try to win their lanes, and they want to try to kind of bully you into submission, whereas Team Chinese Taipei, they're going to be more happy to play reactively rather than proactively. And here's where things get interesting because look, Wacko, he doesn't want to step forward. You just give that over to Junja. He's now strong in the jungle, 2-1-0. He's definitely accelerated over Hung, but you're falling behind in terms of kills for the bot lane, but you're making up with the tower plates and the creep kills.
Those moves are all made off the back of that vision control that we saw Iwandi get as well. You know, they saw the jungle and support group up, try to roam towards mid, and as soon as they were behind that Drake pit, that's when they hit the go button. That's when they went in on Wacko, who was real damn close to his T1 tower. So the dive angle was certainly there. Nice reaction from Team Chinese Taipei to at least answer with anything. And we're just going to have a
here comes the dive
interesting fight
potential.
towards the top now. Cube going to take that one turret shot and decides against the full dive. But he certainly had that auto attack fully stacked up.
Yeah, probably going to be seeing a lot of that in the top lane. It's not really a winning lane for the Scion, but he certainly can survive there, and that's kind of just what you do, right? You just chill, you just play, and keep your tower safe, and there's not really too much you can do about diving it as the Jax just yet, because even if you do get the kill, chances are you get traded out. Now Team Chinese Taipei, they don't know about the Wukong.
They're hungry. Pong just playing the defensive game. He is going to be spotted by that red trinket. Little pulse come through. Junja happy to take that one-on-one as the tower is going to be taken. Not quite fully. Herald's there. They're poking away, but of course there's just been so much damage done. The TP coming in on the flank angle. And it looks like Team China want to go all in here. Hong going to be able to hit that Cyclone. Big knock up on Wacko, who's gone. And the other two just retreat. So big investment. Will be able to knock Wacko down and make things that much harder. Maple, in the meantime, just going to walk on down and hope that he can find any value here, but I think it's just too late.
Yeah, Maple did have a teleport available, but didn't really have a very good ward to TP2. There was a ward in the closest bush to the Team Chinese Taipei tower, but nothing for him, you know, close that he could go right in on. Let's have a look back and see if... Oh, there is actually... Never mind, I made a mistake. There is a pink ward that he could have TP'd down to. I wonder, would that have made a difference, or would he have been there a little bit too late anyway?
Maybe.
Maybe they just recognized that that was not going to be a winning fight. We'll just sacrifice Wacko. Stuck around a little bit too long, greeting for that tower kill, but we're still not doing too badly for ourselves. Let's not let this snowball into anything more than it needed to be.
Wacko, of course, going to be going for the Kraken Slayer first, so he's managed to get that upgrade as he has been forced to the base with that death, and up towards the top now. Actually just going to keep on trying to take these plates, farming up the wave as best he can, and trying to just keep up. Well, he's actually got a CS lead over the Jax at the moment. Cube.
Yeah, not by a massive margin, but those tower plates are starting to come into play a little bit. Two tower plates picked up there for Azure, but none for Cube. And yeah, again, that very much is the name of the game as the Scion. You just sit there and defend your tower and ensure that you can't really gain too many advantages in that top lane, and slowly but surely kind of win from that position, which very much has been the mentality for Team Chinese Taipei so far. They still have a gold lead, and look at how much presence Junja is showing to the bot lane. He's not gone anywhere but bots.
That's the meta, right? They just have to go for it. Hope he should be right here, falling away. I don't know about Iwandi. He's going to invest the flash to survive, and now it might just be the turnaround. You can see that the jungle in the mid lane are going to start to walk around. Shanks, he's here. He's walking over the pink ward and is as well. So things get a little awkward. Sion joining the fray. Is this going to be enough, though? Charging right on in, and it might just be see you later, Hope. There's no hope left for him. A big pickup off the back of that one. Maple just going to be dancing around, doing a whole lot of movement, and we see all of Team Chinese Taipei starting to fall there. Things looked so good until they didn't, as he should just be able to walk away here. Gets that knock up. Maple, he's not quite done. Will be chunking. Cube now in danger territory.
Yeah, very interesting fight. In the end, it did look like, as you say, very good for Team Chinese Taipei. Excellent Sion ulti. Get rid of Hope out of the picture early on in the piece, but Team China able to respond in kind. They really waited patiently for the perfect opportunity. The Cyclone was excellent, and the follow-up was really good there as well. Shanks just getting into the mix. Here's the replay of it. This is where it started. You thought for a moment maybe Junjia was going to look for the tower dive there, but Iwandi able to back away to safety. And then, well, Team Chinese Taipei, they pull the trigger. The TPs come together in unison. It's really nice to see them get that kill onto Hope early on in the piece, but Wacko and Woody were just completely out of it for the whole fight. The Counter-Strike landed, and then the Cyclone on top of that as well. They basically did not get to play it. And that's the danger, right? They were half HP, they got dove upon, and sometimes there's just not much you can do as an AD carry like that when you're getting dove upon. Junjia is looking for more in the bot lane, but this time it's Maple to receive the benefit of it, or maybe they just want to take the tower for free, which is another little bonus. Still, even despite multiple fights going the way of Team China in a row by a bare margin, Team Chinese Taipei are actually winning in the macro sense. They've taken that bot tower, they're getting advantages elsewhere. They have CS leads in the mid lane, and they probably got the dragon as well. So, you know, small advantages continue to go the way of Team Chinese Taipei, even though Team China are upholding their end of the bargain when it comes to the fights.
One Drake for one Drake so far. That armor can certainly come in handy a bit later on for how tanky Team Chinese Taipei are looking to build into. And we are going to have some Hexgate gameplay again. It's not the first time today. It can certainly change up how the movements across the map are read and are utilized by both these teams. So we'll see if that plays a factor later on. It is just going to be the full-on all-in. See you later, Wacko just gets belted. Big use of that Zeri ult. The burst was just too much. And I don't know if this mid T1 is going to last for too much longer here.
Well, that's the danger when you're playing something like an Aphelios. If you get dove upon by a Wukong, an Akali, a Zeri, I mean, you're just not going to survive. There's just too much damage in such a short amount of time, even though Woody is standing right next to you, has that ulti, has the shields. You can't keep yourself alive. So it's a big positioning game here for Wacko, and maybe he's starting to get gappoed a little bit, unfortunately. He's down 0-3. Hope 4-2 right now, doing a really good job for Team China. It started well for Team Chinese Taipei down in that bot lane. They were having some favorable trades, but we talked about the kills going over to the jungler rather than the AD carry, and in this case for Team China, they're now starting to pull ahead as far as the AD carry position is concerned, and we talked about how important that is in the current meta. So, very stacked Zeri and Aphelios that is still waiting to get going. And actually, for the first time in a while, in fact, in the first time in this game so far, Team China pulls ahead in the gold.
Just barely, of course. As you mentioned, it is constantly being matched by different sources. And now we might see Shanks get caught out here. It's like he is not going to be able to catch up to him there with the Q. And decides just to rotate back towards mid instead. So both mid laners now towards that top side. Of course, Wacko again just going to try to farm up, but even when he doesn't think he's in danger, he's in danger. Team China always coming in with a plan.
Yeah, wet noodle fight down in bot between the top laners. This game is not going to be won and lost through the top laners. I can tell you that, Mac. It is going to be won through the 4-on-4, and potentially, obviously, those team plays, the teleports coming through from both Arja and Cube. Hope's going for a bit of a run, looking for Junjia, but can't find him. With the little invade though, Gromp goes over to Hong. So another small advantage that Team China is able to take.
Yeah, just denying gold where it's possible. and starting to stretch out that gold lead. Very close to the 1K gold gap now. We are going to see Team Chinese Taipei play a dangerous game. There is going to be 3 members close. 1 will back in the meanwhile, so just like that, the numbers swap to favor Team Chinese Taipei, but it is going to be the TP straight back in. Cube, or Shanks rather, going to make his way across, and that gets respected.
Yep. Fair enough. No harm, no foul really for Team Chinese Taipei. Baron going to be spawning in a second, but not sure at the point where these teams are going to start thinking about that yet. Arjun more than happy to just play slow down in that bot lane. Keep the creep wave where he needs it.
And the game slows down again.
Yep.
No one wants to make that big mistake. Team China already with a significant advantage, already opening the map up for them.
Yeah, not likely to see too much happening until that dragon spawns. Both teams are kind of trying to get prepared for that now. You can see Team Chinese Taipei pushing their way into the river to get some vision control. That'll then get swept and dealt with by Team China, and then it'll be Team Chinese Taipei's turn once again to try to establish some vision. This is exactly what you want to be doing, right? Milio walks in alongside the jungler, gets vision down, able to base with about 45 seconds, 30 to 45 seconds left for the dragon. Reset all of his wards. He's got 3 left there. He's put 3 back in the back pocket. He's bought himself a control ward again. So that's how you win the vision war.
Red buff going to be taken. 20 seconds before the next Drake spawns, and it looks like Team China are going to start to make their way down towards that bottom river, but it is just going to be the TP in. You can see that Team Chinese Taipei, they want to fight for vision control. They want to make sure that all of these neutral objectives are going to be put in their back pocket. And on the spawn, you've got Honk just waiting for anyone to move towards that Drake pit. He might try to sneak this one, but of course there's going to be a lot of eyes on mid. There is going to be mid prio for Team Chinese Taipei, but look, that wave clear is just too good for Team China at the moment. Oh, the angle is there for Hong to try and make the flank happen. He is going to be spotted out, and Junja wants to try to deal with it. In the meanwhile, Shanks, he's not going to be here attending the party, not just yet, and you can see that Team China, they don't have a lot of vision in the river, so it is just going to be the all-in. Oh, Zion going to go a little bit too far, flashed out of the way. Team China is the lightning smash straight on the top of Altia, and in the meanwhile, he'll make his way to the zombie form. I don't know if Team Chinese Taipei are going to be able to do anything off the back of that. It is just 1 life, and that could be a Drake off the back of it. Shanks, he is sitting straight on vision. We'll be able to spot that one, try to draw attention, try to sit on this flank angle. But Team Chinese Taipei, they're not done. 4v5, they're thinking about it. They just want to try to get a ward in. Blue Trinket going to be invested. 3k remain. Is there going to be a dive angle? Junja not going to go for it, and we'll just start to walk away.
Yeah, they were just hanging around to see if anyone was going to make a mistake. No mistake given, though, by Team China. And so they get themselves a free dragon. Bit of a boo-boo for Team Chinese Taipei. Awkward engage. But they want to try to respond. They want to try to take that mid tower.
Let's go! The TP on the cannon just to keep it alive and make sure no one was taking unnecessary damage.
Yep, fair enough. So mid for the dragon. Still call that a win for Team China. You're not going to get that dragon back, but the mid lane turret can get taken at any time.
Azir as well. Maple's turret there just slowing down any mid-wave aggression, keeping that prio, and now they're going to be able to try and turn their tide on to Baron, but Shanks on the flank angle is just waiting to go for some perfect execution, just chunking that damage away, and in comes the rest of them. Emperor's Divide going to miss, but it is going to try to divide the rest of Team China. Shanks going to be running away on low HP, and it looks like it's going to start to turn in the favour of Team Chinese Taipei, but that health bar is not working too damn good. Wacko is going crazy. Red, white, don't fight. Team China didn't listen to the rules.
Brrr, there he goes. He's still got it. He's still looking for more. He wants to go charging forward. Hong needs to be careful. Oh, that was a game of inches, really. I honestly thought was not going to go very well for Team Chinese Taipei. Once again, Archer just finding himself in trouble. And Team China happy to take that one as a freebie. But the dive came through from Shanks as well. I think it was Shanks, and he got blown up in the back line. Good little bait from Team Chinese Taipei. They never wanted to take this dragon, this Baron. It looked really bad when that Emperor's Divide did miss, but Wacko just... you very rarely are going to see an AD carry running at an Akali, but he certainly was happy to do so, feeling really confident.
That as well. Junja used his ult just to jump across the wall to safety and survive, and it was more than enough. Team China unable to get too much value off the back of that fight, and it's a great way for Team Chinese Taipei to start to close this gold lead. It is still just over a K, favored to Team China, but with the Baron buff, you surely... Oh, not with the Baron buff, rather. With the good team fight coming out of the back of that one, you'd expect something to go right for them.
Yeah, this is a mishap.
Emperor's Divide. Oh. Is it going to be enough to save Maple? It is just going to be the full rotation across Team China. They want this so bad. That's going to be the first kill. And without that AP source of damage, now you see Team Chinese Taipei licking those wounds and hoping that they're going to at least be able to contest this Baron.
Well, they first want to shove that mid-wave in just to try to put a bit more pressure with the lanes onto Team China, but very much that focus is going to be towards the Baron. Team China, they have another advantage, but
Shanks.
Wacko is looking very strong. If Wacko can survive through this fight, maybe there's still an angle for Team Chinese Taipei.
Baron's getting real low now. 5k health down to 4k. Shanks as well, still looking for the angle, still looking to dish out that damage. And it is going to be Cyclone hitting every member of Team Chinese Taipei. But it's not enough for Team China to catch up just yet. Activating backwards, Wacko still keeps on pumping out this damage, yet to find a kill. They're looking for it, an angle, it's certainly there. Honglo, Cublo, there's an opportunity, but it's not being found just yet. Wacko starting to move forward, zoning Iwandi and Hope back away, but at least they've denied the Baron for the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I think all things considered, that's kind of a win for Team Chinese Taipei. They lose one player, they lose one member, but they deny the Baron from Team China, so... Similar to the discussion we were having last game about trying to mitigate your losses, that was a good loss mitigation.
Okay.
And they respond pretty quickly. I mean, it's not as if there's no options here for Team Chinese Taipei. This is really hanging on a knife's edge. This game is so close.
Yeah.
Team China are, I will say, for the most part, getting the better, but...
He's going in.
It's not a sure thing, that's for sure.
He went in with the Proto Belt, was hoping to try and find some kind of angle.
Look at the flank from Cube.
That turret going to be dealt with, and Cube is just going to jump in straight on top. Great counter-strike with the Emperor's Divide, knocks him away. Shanks barely alive. He is limping and looking for safety.
Yeah, what actually saves Team Chinese Taipei there is the fact that Hung doesn't quite have Cyclone available. If he's able to follow up, he had Flash, he had E, he was about 2 or 3 seconds away from Cyclone. If he can follow up that counter-strike with a Cyclone, everybody dies. But the fact that he doesn't quite have it gives Team Chinese Taipei that half second they need to jump the Emperor's Divide in and survive.
Now, since there's been a lot of presence on that top side of the map, right? So there has been no chance for Vision to be put down towards the bot side. Actually going to be dropping the control wall there just to make sure it's not going to be a Baron swapped, or traded rather, for this Drake, which is up in a few seconds. Vision control going to be taken. Got Junja who's worked on that one, as well as Woody.
Sideline pressure.
They're going to go straight for it. Side lane pressure is certainly there, so the lanes will be pushed in. But the mid-prio is still favouring Team Chinese Taipei, and in comes this attempt at the trade. It looks like they're going to go straight off of that Drake and run across here to make sure there's no free Baron for Team China. Shanks again, constantly getting these perfect flank angles. If Maple gets caught out here, things could go wrong real quick. There's that Proto Belt going to be used. Junja hoping that he can connect somewhere. Shanks going to be able to escape away with the Shuriken toss. And in comes the jump. Okay, Emperor's Divide. And Shanks now barely alive. That dot's not going to be enough. Junja needs to hit one more something. He's getting chunted down. There's no world where he survives here. The nice snipe is damn good. Wacko using those weapons fully effectively.
I gotta say, Mac, I kind of get the feeling that Team Chinese Taipei is going to win this game. I don't know where it's coming from, but Wacko is just looking a little bit too good. Yeah. Cyclone's going to be forced out of Hong. He has to flash over the wall to escape, and now it's Team Chinese Taipei with the run of things. They are down on gold. They are down on kills. They are down on dragons. But they're still winning these fights. They're still looking better in the 5v5s.
It's Team China that are down on a player, and that's why it feels like Team Chinese Taipei are happy to trade the Baron for that Drake. It is going to be another Hextech Drake in the bag for Team China, and of course, if this drags out a little bit longer, there is a chance that Team China can get this Soul.
Well, the next couple of minutes are going to be the big power play for Team Chinese Taipei. Yeah. They've got that Baron. They are going to have to ensure that they make good use of it. Obviously, top tower is going to go down, but can they break some of those tier 2s? Can they break a tier 3? Can they get an inhib even and really start to put that pressure onto Team China? Wacko has scaled nicely into this game. He's finished off 3 items. He's even got the Bloodthirster, so that's going to make it a little more difficult for Shanks and Cube and Hung to dive in on top of him, finish him off. It's a good safe build path from him. And with the Banshee's Veil as well, you know, you were talking about it. Shanks, can he try to get on top of Maple? not really the kind of target that he wants to be diving onto. Banshee's Veil does make it really difficult, obviously negating some of that damage and giving you the magic shield.
Everything's slowing down while the objectives are not available.
It's an interesting position for Hong to be in. He's going to have to base, but...
Yeah. Thought maybe he could go for a flank. He's
What's
still
he
waiting
wondering?
for a flank.
Yeah, he's looking for something.
Maybe he was hoping that someone like Woody was lurking around there that he could pick off. Decides to stay around and look for this flank angle. You can see him starting to walk across now. No one's turned towards him, so he's aware that there's no vision here, but he's just walked over the control ward and now he knows he's spotted. Will he be able to draw this attention away?
This is not good.
They're getting full value out of this Baron buff. Synced up mid and bot waves, and it's going to be this T3 bot lane gone. Inhib to follow. There is no one here for Team China at the moment to stop this one from going down, and the pressure is consistent, and it's too good. Team Chinese Taipei finally going to be able to turn around that gold lead. Hong as well. Ooh,
Yeah.
thought he was in trouble.
Bit of a miscom or a bit of indecision maybe from Team China there does give away the bot lane inhibitor to Team Chinese Taipei. You had Shanks pushing in top, but he's not gotten enough value, and you've just got Hong floating around in the jungle, but as you say, he walks over that flank ward, and ultimately Team Chinese Taipei get away with exactly what they'd want. A bot lane inhib puts a lot of pressure onto Team China. Woody maybe caught out. Emperor's Divide is forced to try to keep him safe. Both teams going to walk away from that one unscathed, but some big ultis used for Team Chinese Taipei. They don't care, they want to fight.
Okay. Team Chinese Taipei will fight for a decent amount of vision control. Looking to keep on forcing that point and trying to find Hope here, maybe out of position, but he is going to be grouped up with Heng, with Hope. Hong, however, does not have that Cyclone online, so he is less dangerous than you'd expect for Team China, and it looks like with the Baron buff still remaining, they're going to be able to take this mid-inhib as well. And they might be able to push it into a win. Oh, Shanks, he's not going to die, not just yet. Still alive, has to heal, and look at the damage being pumped out on to the Nexus turrets. There's one gone already, and it seems like there is almost nothing that Team China is going to be able to do to stop this from happening. Baron buff finally fades, and that could be the difference maker. Team China using the Nexus turret as that sixth man here just to try to defend. Shanks still looking for an angle on the side. He does have that perfect execution if he wants to use it at any point, but he's just waiting for the perfect moment. Waiting for the wombo combo that could be happening. Hong, he's going to be jumping towards that back line. Emperor's Divide tries to split up the troopers now. It looks like they're going to have to let... Oh my god, he's come from the top. As he might have to fall down here, but Team China turning it around just at the right moment. It might just be enough zombie form. Not going to find Hong. I don't think there's enough damage.
Yeah, they've just got a scatter right there, Team Chinese Taipei. It was a moment of weakness, certainly. They were really in a position that if all 5 of those members go down, maybe you see the base finished off by Team China, but Maple escapes. That's probably the key factor. I mean, the waves weren't really in position for Team China to push either, but they would have certainly had a bigger swing had they been able to finish off a couple of members. Here, though, they have to reset back to base. And here's the fight that could have gone so well for Team Chinese Taipei. Maybe they just bit off a little more than they could chew. Team China are very scared of the 5v5, you can tell at this point. I think it's Maple that ends up maybe allowing this to happen by taking that Hex Gate. He just gets himself out of position a little bit. Wacko goes low. He does get the Sonya off, but ultimately
that allows him to catch up.
Yeah. So it ends up being a 2-for-1, which, you know, all things considered for Team Chinese Taipei is not too bad. It was a good idea from Arja to just give up his life to allow the other 3 to survive. Very much the nature of the top lane gameplay at the moment, right? Really playing for the team.
A nice try, though. They were looking for the end. Unfortunately, just couldn't execute the fight as intended. And now, after that, Team China are going to snatch back that gold lead. So we'll see if that comes into account later on. Again, this pressure constantly being put on the mid lane.
And look at the flanks and look at the flanking wards. Just look at the vision that Team Chinese Taipei have got. They are playing a very disciplined game here. They know exactly where Cube is, but Wacko, he's going to need some help. Where is the Milio?
Yeah, there goes the Emperor's Divide, just to hide them away for the moment. It is going to be Cube going in anyway. Just trying to whack him as much as he can, just jumping around, counter-strike. Not going to get too much value. And Team Chinese Taipei should be okay.
Dragon's up, but it's a risky one to go for as Team China. If you go for the Dragon right here, Team Chinese Taipei, they just push down mid and say, we're going to finish the game. Wave's not quite there yet, but the longer this lasts, the longer this dance continues, the longer the chance for those siege creeps to start to push their way in. and shove the waves. And so in the end, Team China makes the decision to just give up the dragon. They know it's not super important at this point.
No soul point for Team Chinese Taipei yet.
Yeah, so it's a wise decision, but again, a small advantage being pulled back for Team Chinese Taipei. And right now, Team China are playing the waiting game. They're just waiting for these inhibitors to go back up. There's you know, a minute or two left on that, and see. So here's an important moment for Team Chinese Taipei. If they can gain the Baron, they can continue to snowball those advantages one after the other. But if they fail to get the Baron here, that's when Team China can start to get that counter-strike back in.
Team China just posturing, waiting, looking for the moment to jump on in. Hong quite far away, walking deep into the jungle and deciding to go for the flank. It looks like they're going to try to go all in. Hong does have that Cyclone online, and it's going to be used effectively. Emperor's Divide going to be red there. Hong will live for the moment, but it looks like so will Team Chinese Taipei. Junja just trying to draw him off to the side. He will fall in the meantime, and that is going to be the wombo combo. Huge damage coming out from Cube, who's just jumping straight on him. Shanks as well, just dancing around, jumping straight onto Ashy, who probably will survive, but Maple will be the last attempt for them to hold the base.
I don't think they can.
Wave coming in on top side, and these Nexus turrets are just going to melt. The numbers are not strong enough, and Team China, out of nowhere, turn this around and into the win in the first game of the series.
Yeah, Team China, what a team fight. They just find the angle.